Understanding pesticide-related labels and certifications can be confusing, especially because the language on food packaging often sounds more definitive than the reality behind it. A clearer, more informed interpretation helps consumers avoid false reassurance while still using labels as useful tools rather than marketing traps. Certifications do matter, but only when their limits, enforcement mechanisms, and underlying standards are understood. The term organic is the most regulated and meaningful of the common labels, yet it is frequently misunderstood. Certified organic produce is grown under standards that prohibit the use of most synthetic pesticides and fertilizers and restrict genetically modified organisms. Instead, organic farming relies on crop rotation, biological pest control, and a limited list of approved substances, many of which are naturally derived. Importantly, organic does not mean pesticide-free. Organic farms are allowed to use certain pesticides, and environmental contamination from neighboring farms or soil can still result in detectable residues. The real value of organic certification lies in significantly reduced exposure to synthetic pesticides and in the broader farming practices it supports, not in absolute chemical absence. Pesticide-free is a far more problematic label because it often lacks a clear legal definition or standardized enforcement. In many regions, this term is not formally regulated, meaning producers may use it without consistent testing or third-party verification. Some farms may interpret pesticide-free to mean no synthetic pesticides, while others may include naturally derived chemicals or exclude only certain classes of pesticides. Without transparent standards and regular residue testing, this label can be misleading. Consumers should treat it as a marketing claim rather than a guarantee unless it is backed by a recognized certification body. Integrated pest management, often abbreviated as IPM, represents a more nuanced and realistic approach to pest control, and its presence on labels or farm descriptions can be a positive indicator when applied properly. IPM prioritizes prevention, monitoring, and non-chemical controls first, using pesticides only as a last resort and in targeted ways. This approach aims to minimize overall pesticide use rather than eliminate it entirely. However, IPM is a framework rather than a single standard, and its implementation varies widely. Some producers apply IPM rigorously, while others use the term loosely without significant reductions in chemical inputs. Without certification or auditing, IPM claims require cautious interpretation. Other labels, such as grown without synthetic pesticides or low residue, occupy a gray area between organic and conventional farming. These claims may reflect genuine efforts to reduce chemical use, but they are often self-declared and inconsistently verified. The lack of harmonized definitions means that two products with similar-sounding claims may differ substantially in actual pesticide practices. This inconsistency places the burden of interpretation on consumers, who are rarely given enough information to assess credibility at the point of purchase. Country of origin and certification logos also matter, but they do not carry equal weight across regions. Some national organic standards are stricter and better enforced than others, and recognition between countries varies. Imported products may display certifications from exporting countries that meet local standards, but not those of the importing market. Understanding which certifying body issued the label and whether it is subject to independent audits is often more important than the label wording itself. A critical but often overlooked issue is that certifications focus on production practices rather than final residue levels. A product can meet certification standards and still contain trace residues, while a non-certified product may test very low in residues due to growing conditions or farming choices. This disconnect means certifications should be used as indicators of risk reduction, not as absolute measures of safety. The most constructive way to use pesticide-related labels is as part of a broader decision-making framework. Organic certification offers the strongest and most consistent signal of reduced synthetic pesticide use. IPM claims may indicate thoughtful pest control but require skepticism unless supported by transparency. Unregulated terms like pesticide-free, should be approached with caution. None of these labels replace the need for proper washing, dietary diversity, or attention to overall food quality. Ultimately, understanding pesticide labels is about informed realism rather than trust or distrust. Certifications can help consumers shift exposure in a safer direction, but they do not eliminate risk. When labels are interpreted with clarity about what they guarantee and what they do not, they become tools for empowerment rather than sources of confusion, helping people make choices aligned with their health priorities without falling prey to misleading simplicity.